Hello everyone. My name is Himanshu Bagri and I am from Sardar Vallabhbhai National Institute of Technology, Surat, SP90 Surat. So the topic of our presentation, our paper is learning the transpose from traditional to online during the COVID-19 pandemic. So first of all, I would like to thank the coordinator from Jamia Millia Islamia University for giving us this opportunity to present our paper in this conference. So the it is basically a viewpoint paper. So what we have come across is like there is a lot of changes which basically the education and the learning system has observed recently due to the COVID-19 pandemic. So we'll be discussing further on. The authors of this paper are first me, my name is Himanshu, and the second author is Dr. Hemant Kumar Balsara. He is an associate professor at SP90 Surat. And the third author is Latika Sharma. She is a research scholar at SP90 Surat. The flow of the presentation will be something like this. First of all, introduction will be covered, review of related literature, higher education, and with respect to India as well, and traditional learning, face-to-face learning, e-learning, online learning, and online learning during the phase of COVID-19. So we have prepared a small framework, and it will be compared using a SWOT analysis, SWOT analysis, and the conclusion and session will be there. So let me begin with the introduction. Okay. So the COVID-19 pandemic has deeply affected every industry globally, and majorly people are struggling. The COVID situation has come again, and the second phase of Corona has started, and still every day there are a lot of problems that are coming. So due to the pandemic, education institutions across the world, like almost in 188 countries globally, which is a direct bear on the 91% of the population, which comes from the student class. So in India, obviously, it is a very big challenge to handle. So throughout the globe, educators had to switch from the traditional teaching method to mode of teaching, which is online. So distance learning, which earlier very few of the universities like used to offer, like now the online learning system has been implemented, and it is a mandatory shift from traditional face-to-face learning to online learning. So both the students and faculties, for them, it is a different scenario because earlier the physical presence of the students and faculties were there, but now there is no physical presence, there is no class interaction, but only a virtual interaction between a student and a faculty. So the transformation is a mandatory shift. Like we all had been many countries, in fact, were planning to implement online learning, to implement online education system, and it is like a plan of government that to switch from traditional to online up to a certain limit, or to incorporate blended learning or hybrid learning. But it is a mere dream. But this situation, COVID has like provided a mandatory shift of education. So acceptance of this technology, if efficient utilization, can affect student success with the online classes. These are the literature review portion, which we came across after reading research papers from many authors. So according to this author, Kyo et al. And many other authors like who were there in the paper, the success rate of students in the educational journey are more likely observed in the post-secondary students with their acceptance towards online learning. So we have used a SWOT analysis, as already mentioned, as a guiding framework for our literature review investigation. So review of related literature. First of all, higher education. So it is said, and it is very well proven in many studies, that participation in socio-economic development is well managed and organized by the educated individuals. So obviously the educated individuals will be one who will be getting good qualifications in the higher education section and all. So the ambient of career opportunities increases, good quality of life provides more significant career opportunities, and knowledge and wisdom is enhanced. The rate of unemployment decreases. What else a country needs? Higher education in India. So India, it is the third largest system globally, which comes after China. So education system is indeed like it is amazing in India. So the topmost 8 states where where the number of higher education institutes are there in the country India are like Uttar Pradesh, Maharashtra, Karnataka, Rajasthan, Andhra Pradesh, Tamil Nadu, Gujarat, and Madhya Pradesh. Considering such a scenario, is still it is not possible for each and every person to get education in a higher education institution. So obviously the online education seems to be a very good advantage when you are sitting at a particular place and you will get to learn, you will be just needing a computer, a good internet, and or a mobile, and you can access the education. So the gross enrollment ratio is still available to touch 30%, which is presently 25.8% in India. So traditional learning, it is a face-to-face learning, and where interaction between teacher and student takes place inside a classroom setup. So e-learning, it pursue an active role and work together with them. It is flexible in time, and obviously, as already mentioned, there it can be accessed, it can be used at any of the location. So uh, this is a particular figure which we came across, like we have mentioned about traditional learning, e-learning, and the advantages and disadvantages associated with these. So traditional learning disadvantages. It is instructor centered, whereas when it comes to students, when it comes to online learning, it is student centered. So this is what the new education policy also focuses upon. It is focusing on the student centric approach, and there are many other things, like due to limited time, I'll just um, switch to the next slide. So online learning during COVID-19. So this term, stay and work from home, was very much popular earlier also, but now it is very, very, very popular with each and every person. So work from home has become a new trend, and due to the current scenario, due to the current situation that is there, it is a mandatory thing to be done and to maintain social distancing. So learners across the globe have been locked in their families, and like in terms of India, where the highest demographic dividend is there, like the young population, they are locked inside their home and inside their families. So it is a big challenge. The lockdown that was imposed suddenly increased the demand for the online courses, and online learning through various approaches observed an enormous rush. Due to pandemic, various countries adopted online learning methodology as a chief education mode. So this theoretical framework, like we have tried to analyze the traditional learning and online learning with the SWOT analysis, and the major emphasis of COVID-19 is on the e-learning. So it is a moderating effect of COVID-19 that is directly on the e-learning. Okay, SWOT analysis is an instrument that advises the management and administration of various schools, colleges, and universities, which tells them the range of effectiveness and non-effectiveness in the educational environment. According to Morrison 2018's primary stage planning activity, which can affect the overall management decision. So it is well thought out to be vital accomplishment aspects in the strategy. So SWOT analysis of traditional learning, or we can say face-to-face learning. So there are many strengths. Obviously, the engagement of student and faculty is comparatively far better. It is efficient use of material resources for study, because it is everything is under the control of the faculty. So these are the strengths, and due to time scarcity, these are the strengths, weakness, opportunities, and threats of traditional learning. Next, I would say the online learning or e-learning. So the strengths are that it is well planned. It needs less charges, less like it is comparatively inexpensive. Students need not to spend that much huge amount, which is there in the traditional learning. So weakness, fraud, or plagiarism are there. Cost of computers is comparatively not every person can afford. So there are many threats associated as well. The number of enrolled students is increasing. The amount of offering degrees and opportunities as well. New technologies can allow for a more enhanced learning environment. So to conclude our paper, the application of technology during such difficult times need to be put into use more competently, which will definitely improve the standards, and which is having the minimum obtaining and low maintenance costs. But could fulfill the essential educational criteria. Implementing an online tool, its advantages and disadvantages. It is very important to understand that as India is still a developing country, and many students from schools and universities face such problems where they cannot access internet services. So it becomes a very important thing to implement. So to put into consideration this factor. As the changes have been observed as a mandatory switch from traditional to online due to the cessation of establishments, it is expected that the world is sure to eyewitness an essential pouring modification of methodology. It is said by Luthra and McKesson in the year 2020. It is the COVID-19 situation. It is essential to study this theme, which will affect Indian youth severely in many aspects. As already mentioned, the demographic dividend of India and second largest populated country in the world. So the COVID-19 and online learning has changed this scenario of from traditional to the online learning. In the end, I would like to thank you all for listening patiently. Thank you very much.